Today we continue to listen Upekkha Bhavana. When we develop Upekkha, the feeling of indifference or equanimity should be born as only karma is our own property in possession, and things have happened. Things would happen according to our own individual karma, which automatically produce an effect. Then the quality of Upekkha would be accomplished. Such being the case, it is important to make use of the knowledge of Karma Sakata, the cause in the close proximity of Upekkha, as a basic factor. Because of this significance, it has been mentioned to bear in mind that nothing happens according to the wish of the meditator, and that beings are subjected to their own karma. Accordingly, in order to be able to develop Karma Sakata knowledge, we mention Chula Karma Vibhinga Sutta from Upri Pandasa Pali text. There lived a lad by the name of Subha in the city of Savatthi during the lifetime of our Lord Buddha. The Pali word Subha conveys the meaning of dignity, dignified personality, so he can be addressed as Mr. Dignity. Dodaya, the Brahmin, was his father. He was astrologer to His Majesty King Kosala, the ruling monarch. Dodaya was a man of great wealth. Although he was very rich, he was a miser. And Dodaya, the Brahmin, had no faith in and reverence for the Buddha. He had already embraced the doctrine of the Brahmins, so he had totally no faith in the Buddha, who had no place in his high estimation. As a matter of fact, he had underestimated the noble qualities of the Buddha, the exalted one. Being a Brahmin, holding a different religious concept, which is of course a false view, he did not even care to listen to the Buddha's discourses, and he did not offer in charity anything. even a spoonful of boiled rice. Not only that, Dodaya used to address the Buddha with disrespect as Bo Bo Bo. That term Bo was used on inferiors and equals. So it would appear that Dodaya must have addressed the Buddha as inferior. For having disrespectfully spoken to the Buddha, and also for having pleasurable attachment to his properties with greed. When Dodaya died, he was conceived in the womb of a bitch at his own house. The bitch gave birth to an infant dog in about 1.5 or 2 months' time. The young man Suba was very fond of that little dog, which was in his previous existence Dodaya, the Brahmin. So the son Suba lavishly fed the young animal, his pet, with delicious food, which he himself relished and let it sleep in a comfortable bed. It was not that he knew of the little dog as his former father. However, those who happen to live together in their former existences are generally affectionate to one another. This fact of Dhamma had been preached in the form of a verse, Pubewa Sandi Wasena Pichopana Hitina wa Ewan Danjayete Bema Opalawa Yatodage. Pubewa Sandi Wasena Pichopana Hitina wa Ewan Danjayete Bema Opalawa Yatodage. That means for having lived together in the previous existence and for having cause to bring benefits in the ensuing present existence, these kinds of peculiar affection or love is likely to spring up. How it happens is that as much as there is water, the lotus will continue to grow and develop with vigor and freshness. It resembles a lotus plant which sprouts with strength and vigor for so long as there is water. Also, love is likely to spring up for having lived in association in the former existence. If the duration of living together is long, affection will become deeper. The longer the period of close association, the greater the love. So really, why love is likely to spring up? Because for living together in the former life, previous life, for living association in the previous existence, and if the duration of living together is long, affection will become deeper. The longer the period of close association, the greater the love. Okay, can you follow me? For having lived together in the previous existences, love is likely to spring up. Love is likely to spring up. If the duration of living together is long, if the duration of living together is long, affection will become deeper. The longer the period of living together, the greater the love. So it is because of their living together in the previous life, love spring up. So there is nothing to be said in particular if joint performances have been made in the matter of meritorious acts. If you done together with meritorious deeds, also love will more greater. And in the present existence also, a person may become more affectionate to another who give assistance. If helping each other, so the love will greater. So this is clearly evident perhaps through personal experience. In the case of Todia, who had become a dog in his next existence, as he and his son were father and son, living together in his former existence. There is no wonder that Suba, the rich man's son, had his great loving attachment to the dog. One day, Buddha spread out his penetratingly keen observation over the entire universe with his omniscience, Buddha's wisdom, which preceded his trance of great compassion. On reflection being made as to who could listen to his sermon with all earnestness, and as to who could attain the special Dharma, and who would be able to accept and entertain his faith in the Triple Gem, Buddha found Subha, the young lad, appearing his vision. So Buddha in the morning on the same day in making his rounds for alms, purposely dropped in at the house of Todeya, the rich. On entering the house compound, the dog, formerly Todeya, rushed towards the Buddha, barking sharply. Then Buddha admonished the dog. Hey Todeya, you have now become a dog for having spoken to me and addressed me with disrespect as Bo Gautama in your former existence. Now, if you, as a dog, barked at me with a guilty mind, you will go down to Aviji hell. When the dog heard these words of the Buddha's admonition, it imagined, now this monk Gautama knows what has happened to me. The dog imagined. So feeling sorry for its own plight, the dog went off towards the back of the house and lay down to sleep in the ashes on the floor of the fireplace. The people in the house tried to carry him up, folding him in arms to be put on the fire couch. He used to roar and sleep, but in vain. On reaching back home from the visits to the other place, Subha the lad asked, "Who has moved the dog from its bed?" And members of the household told Subha that no one had driven the dog from its bed, and then related to him all what had happened. Being informed the incident which had taken place, Subha the young man thought to himself, Todeya is my father. If the monk Gautama had called the dog as Todeya, that means my father has been reborn as a dog. In fact, my father has reached the abode of Brahmas. What the monk Gautama has said is nonsensical. So Subha felt he was insulted. So he was greatly outraged. And then he immediately went out to see the Buddha with this malicious intention of making an accusation against the Buddha for telling lies. In this condition, the belief that the young man Subha had about his father as having reached the abode of Brahmas was on the strength of his traditional concept according to the religious doctrine of the Brahmana. Brahmins have a belief that by practicing in conformity with the doctrine of their religions, they would reach the worlds of Brahmas on their demise. So there is one story. At one time, a commander-in-chief of the army by the name of General Mahadatta General Mahadatta had a firm belief in the doctrine of Brahmana and he had performed a ritual involving an act of sacrificing the life of a victim to propitiate a god called Brahmana Bhatta, spending a huge amount of money in the performance of rites. And then a vision of hell as an evil omen or sign had appeared to General Mahadatta on the eve of his death. And then Brahmana teacher asked him, what you have seen or what you have visualized? And General Mahadatta replied, I've seen a bright lamp of brilliant red color. And Brahmana teacher said, it is Brahmaloka. So the General Mahadatta inquired where the Brahmaloka was situated, whether it is in the region high above or in the lower region below. He asked to the teacher. Thereupon the teachers answered that Brahmaloka is in the higher region above. And Mahadatta said, what I have seen was in the region below. And the teachers insisted, though it might appear to be in the region down below, it is in fact in the region high above. As Mahadatta passed away, while concentrating his mind fixed on this sign, on nimitta, he went down to hell. It's mentioned in the Michima Panasa commentary. If a wrong religious concept has crept in, it is really dangerous. In some cases, some people hold a firm belief that by slaughtering a sacrifice to propitiate the gods, one would reach an abode of happy condition, and that they reminded a sick patient on his deathbed to reflect on the past incidents, recalling his acts of charity in slaughtering the beings. When the late Subha met the Buddha, he asked the exalted one what he said to the dog on the occasion of the Lord's visit to his house was true or not. with reference to the information he had heard. Thereupon, Buddha replied that what Suba had heard was exactly true and correct. Then, in order to enable him to come to a right decision, put a question. O Suba, young man, it is true that there are still a number of properties which your father had failed to mention where they are kept. Suba then responded, yes, indeed, there are three in numbers, a gold necklace, a pair of gold slippers, and gold vase worth 100,000 each, and also 100,000 cash, all totally 400,000 in value. These are mentioned in the list of properties left to me, but cannot be found or cannot be traced anywhere, he said to the Buddha. Then Buddha ordered, if so, Suba, you better go back home now, and on your arrival, fed the dog with milk rice and other nice food. And then asked the dog where the missing properties are. The dog will reveal everything, Buddha said to Suba. On hearing the words of the Buddha, the led Suba reflected, if what monk Gautama has said were true, the missing properties would be recovered. If the words were found to be false, I will proceed to accuse him of telling falsehood. Then Suba the lad returned home and carried out what was to be done as directed by the Buddha. By the time the dog was dozing, Suba asked the dog, O father, these properties, detail of which were given, are found in the list. Where are these properties? Monk Gautama has told me that you know where these are kept. Please show me where they are. And the dog imagining, now they have known all about me and I could not possibly hide the matter. And the dog uttered a howl and then showed the place where the properties were hidden by scratching with his 4 feet the surface of the earth beneath which the properties were buried. When they excavated the ground, all those 4 kinds of missing properties were discovered. As a result of this discovery, faith in the Buddha had arisen in the hearts of Suba the lad, and Suba came to realize that his father had undoubtedly become a dog after death. The dog, having revealed everything as stated by the Buddha, it had occurred to him that monk Gautama really knew the states of existence and possessed the faculty of knowing all about the former existence, future existence, and present existences. One would naturally have faith in what is stated if the statement so made is personally found to be true. Those who have embraced various kinds of religious doctrine do not generally believe in what has been testified by other different religious concepts contrary to their own. This is, of course, quite natural. Some religions hold the view that death of a human being is in all cases the annihilation of existence. What it means to say is that there is only one existence which terminates with death. However, this concept is not the product of one's own personal knowledge. It is mere imagination produced from one's own belief or concept. And in some other uh, belief, it is stated that after passing away from the human existence, a person will either go down to hell forever or elevate to the heavenly abode. So this is a belief which is traditionally handed down by their ancestors. And some people even say that after death, if favorable circumstances prevail, one may be reborn as a human being or as a celestial beings or as an animal, etc. In this condition, there are some extraordinary individuals who are said to have been endowed with the faculty of seeing and hearing, etc., or that are taking place in the entire universe. That is, person possessing supernatural vision, hearing, and so on. And Buddha teaching. According to the Buddha's Dhamma, for so long as tanha, attachment, human passionate desire, is still clinging and not yet freed, the process of mind and matter will be going on continuously from one existence to another due to karma. In common language currently in use, it may be stated that a human becomes a deva, celestial beings, or a celestial being becomes a human, or a human is reborn as an animal, etc., or an animal is reborn as a human being, and so on. In reality, it is merely the nature of phenomenal occurrences of the continuing process of mind and matter. If Tanna, desirable passionate attachment, is totally eliminated through the achievement of Radha Phala by contemplating Vipassana meditation, the continuing process of mind and matter will cease to operate. After the arising of death consciousness called Parinibbana. It is commonly known as entering into Parinibbana, ultimate death, after which there is no more existence to come. It is what has been stated by Buddha's teaching. This statement has been fully confirmed by the Buddha himself through his own perfect realization acquired through personal knowledge of Buddha's wisdom. As some yogi who are meditating will surely stand witness to the truth of this statement to the extent of their own achievement of the insight knowledge. The manner of how existences have come into being is fully supported by the story of Todeya, who had become a dog. In the teaching of the Buddha, there are numerous instances of this nature, which show as an evidence undoubtedly believe the story of Todeya. Incidents like Suba, the young man, provided that there is no prejudice or preconceived view. If one becomes prejudicial, it may invoke blind criticism for having entertained a bigoted view of his own faith. Some might even set it aside as an absurdity, saying that it was the deception practiced by Mara, the evil one. If a person refused to believe what the other has said through personal knowledge and experience, it becomes obvious that he has become biased with his own preconceived ideas. Subha the lad has no prejudice. He could give a definite decision the moment he had personally seen and found the incident which was credible. So Subha called on the Buddha for the second time to ask, with what He would like to know and then respectfully ask the Buddha some question. So Suba asks, O Venerable Gautama, people are born in this world of existence as human. Though all of them are equally human beings, why should there be inequalities? As for example, one is inferior and another superior. Why has there been an imbalance in creation? What are the reasons for these inequalities? Some are short-lived and perish in infancy, while young, whereas some have longevity. Why is it so? Some are sick and infirm, ridden with various kinds of diseases, whereas others are strong and healthy. Why? Some are ugly, whereas some are pretty and have a fair complexion. Why? Some have few attendants, whereas some are endowed with a large retinue. Why? Some are poor, needy, whereas some are rich, wealthy, and affluent. Why? Some are born to a low-caste family, whereas some belong to the nobility from birth, a noble family. Why? Some are lacking in knowledge, whereas some are highly intellectual or born genius. Why? These were the questions put for clarification to know the cause of the inequality that exists in the world. Yes, all these points deserve consideration and reflection. Some are brothers born of the same parents. They are, they are even twins. From the astrological points of view, they are born almost at the same time, with little or no difference in hour, minutes, and second. However, there is an evenness in the equality of benefits derived by them individually. There may be a world of difference between them in health, longevity, in the accomplishment of attendance, wealth, prosperity, knowledge, wisdom, and education. So there should have been no inequalities or disparity among human or beings. If there is any imbalance in the creation of mankind, it needs serious reflection as to why they are so created. As such, the question raised by the young man Suba are proper, reasonable, and sensible. To this question, Buddha gave the answer in brief. So Buddha answer next week we will continue. So in the practice of Upekkha Bhavana, we need to know the law of karma, and then really is everything due to karma? Wrong, wrong. Yeah. Everything is the result of previous action. That belief is wrong, according to Buddhism. Any chemically wholesome or unwholesome volitional actions is not the result of former action, because it is the action itself. That is, volition is not influenced by the result of past karma. Volition is not influenced by the results of past karma. You know categories of citta, categories of consciousness. One of the type of consciousness is vipaka, resultant. Vipaka citta, resultant consciousness, is the result of karma. But other types of consciousness, wholesome consciousness, unwholesome consciousness, is not. Wholesome consciousness and unwholesome consciousness is not the result of karma, not the result. So not everything is due to karma. Not everything is due to karma. For example, if you see something desirable, and that seeing consciousness is caused by karma. Previous time you have done good deeds, and then you encounter this something desirable. But your action, your reaction to the seeing, or your reaction to that object is not caused by karma. Your reaction. So your reaction is new karma that you perform. You see a desirable object, it is a result of good karma in the past. And if you see undesirable object, it is the result of bad karma. And if you see beautiful flowers, that is a result of good karma. And the flower is not the result of karma. Beautiful flower is just a natural object. But the consciousness that you see the beautiful flowers is the result of good karma. Then your reaction. What's your reaction? Yeah, if you have attachment to the flowers, then your reaction is unwholesome, akusala karma. And if your reaction is to see the true nature of the flowers, the beautiful flower is impermanent, it is subject to comes and go, rise and fall, then your reaction is not to get attached to it. So that is wholesome karma. So that reaction is either wholesome or unwholesome, kusala or akusala, will give results in the future. So whatever you come across in this life is the result of your karma in the past. But your reaction to it is not the result. Your reaction is not the result. Your reaction is new karma. And then in Buddhism, according to Buddhism, who is the doer of karma? Who enjoys? Who experiences the result of karma? So it is difficult to explain because Buddhism does not accept a person. Buddhism does not accept beings or atta or soul in the person, inside the person. Yet we say that if you do good karma, if you do good deeds, you get good results in the future and so on. The way to explain this seeming paradox is to say that Buddhism accepts both identity and diversity. There's continuity, but not identical mind and matter existing for a long time. At every moment, new mind and matter arise and disappear. So there is something like continuity, but what is not identical to what existed before. Nothing from this moment is taken over to the next moment. So in the ultimate analysis, are there any doer of karma? No. There's no doer of karma. Any experiencer? No, no experiencer. No experiencer of results because there is no doer. There's no doer over and above the doing. Are there any experiencer? No. There's no experiencer of the results over and above the occurrence of the results. Doing and results. Karma and its results. Apart from the actions, we see no one we call an agent of the action. In conventional language, of course, we have to say that beings get results of good karma or being get results of bad karma, but the term being is just a mode of usage used for convenience. So in this thought process, the present karma is important. Vipaka, we just accept it. And present karma, how to react, how your reaction. Yeah. So we have to stop our discourse for today. By practicing vipassana meditation, by observing every phenomena occurring at the six senses continuously and meticulously, and by developing Upekkha Bhavana, may all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future.